Okay, session resumed. So, can we continue with the flashing of the pictures? The first slide, please, requested by Senator Trillanes. The living room. Living room po ba yun? Dining? The dining room?
Mr. Chairman, if this is the order, we'll just...
Okay, there's a particular order. Sige, Ms. Robles, please.
I don't know.
Can we start from the first slide? Okay, sige. Then, Ms. Robles, just the request is for you to make your commentary as the pictures are shown.
This is the residence of Vice President Binay. I went through the kitchen. That's why I saw the kitchen. So you enter through that door on the left side. I went through the door on the left side. This is this is one of the photos of Vice President Binay. On the left side, you can see he's being interviewed by a GMA7 reporter. Unfortunately, I don't have the name of the reporter. That he was trying out two barongs for his inauguration. Those are the barongs. Yeah, we had a photo taken together. This is his dining room. Just to clarify, Senator, I submitted these photos to show proof that I was really there, that the interview did take place. This is his dining room. That's the chandelier in the dining room. This is the long view of his dining room. I was struck by the Nara. I don't know if it's Nara, but it's a very long table, and it's a beautifully made table. That's one of the paintings in his dining room. That's another one by the same artist. These are the small Santos in his dining room. The reason why I was taking these photos is because, I like going to museums, and I felt that these were very good sculptural pieces.
Ms. Robles.
Yes.
I'd just like to ask, based on what you have seen, how do you assess that that particular room, that dining room of the Vice President? Is it a dining room of a middle-class Filipino family?
No, sir. It's a dining room of a politician.
Ma'am,
Yes.
my dining room is not like that. But let's talk about socio-economic terms. Is that a dining room of a middle-class family?
Upper class.
Upper class.
I would
Okay.
think.
Well, because I needed to ask that because the Vice President has this penchant for portraying himself as a poor man. That he has poor man's habits, like eating with his bare hands. But as what we're seeing here, he has this secret world, right? That is shielded from public scrutiny. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Well, for the record, Vice Mayor Mercado showed us how many hearings ago a video of the residence, the house of the Vice President, which is actually available also on YouTube because I think a TV station featured his home in a program. No? So, ma'am, what are those tags that you mentioned? Are they captured in one of your pictures?
Yes, Senator.
Can we go to that? Can we go to that picture with the tags mentioned by Ms. Robles? Kasi ito, nakita na po natin ito sa presentation po.
It's either number 39 or
Can you
50.
go?
That's the one.
Yan po, yan po. Sige,
If you
what are these,
zoom
ma'am?
in- Yes, they were just on the floor and glass bowls, and you can see that it's labeled Batangas, the glass bowls and that covered box. And then on the right side, if you look up close there, that's labeled Alfonso.
Ma'am, without making a judgment, hindi pa tayo humusga, pero para lang mapakita natin yung relevance. Unang-una po, sa interview, sinabi niya doon na meron siyang property sa Batangas. So, tinanong ako ni Chairman, malay natin kung yan yung sa Rosario. Sinabi niya, meron akong babuyan doon. No? So, and then, secondly, kaya natin pinapakita po tong pictures na to dahil pwedeng para doon, pero hindi. Pero napakalaking coincidence naman na yung dalawang property, yung isang dineklara niya, yung isang hindi, dineklara niya sa publiko, no? Hindi sa SALN niya. Yung Alfonso property, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, nasa SALN, pero mas maliit, ayan po, may Alfonso property, tapos yung Batangas property. So, ito po ang konteksto kung bakit namin kayo tinatanong. Dahil iba po yung statements niya ng 2013, iba ang statements niya sa inyo ng 2010. Parang every 3 years ata nagbabago yung statement. No? So, meron pa ba, ma'am, na iba na interesting na may observations? Or can we go it quickly? So, eto ma'am, ano po to?
That's a long view of his living room. I was struck because there were so many Buddhas. Reclining Buddha, standing Buddha, and they're very good quality, and it's like a museum inside.
Can we go through the other pictures? Then we'll just stop pag may questions. So, this is another example, no? And this one, ma'am, ito yung garden.
That's the veranda, yes. Okay. That's the garden. That's an opium bed. That one. That's a second floor.
Ms. Robles,
Yes.
what's an opium bed?
It's I googled it afterwards. It's an antique bed from China.
Long ago, in certain places of the world, pag magre-relax ka or what, you go to opium dens, hindi pa bawal nun, hindi pa drugs nun, then you lay down there, i-administer to you. So that doesn't mean na nag-opium ang ating Vice President. It's a very old antique. It's an antique and very valuable because nung pinagbawal yung opium, 'di ba? Hindi na ginawa tong mga to. This is the social version of crack houses that you have now. No? Nung araw, hindi ka makaka-opium kung hindi malaki pera mo at magbabayad ka. Then, para walang mangyari sa'yo, diyan ka hihiga afterwards. No?
This one in particular, because I was looking at the Inquirer report, if you zoom in sa veranda, the ceiling fan is somewhat the same as the ceiling fan in the Batangas property, if you look. That one, outside. There is another ceiling fan that
Next picture.
I think it's in the GMA 7 video.
Footage.
And the ceiling fan is in the den of the Vice President. That's the one that looks most like the ceiling fan that was found in the Batangas property. Perhaps they had the same design.
Do we have that picture para lang
I-
habang nagte-testify si Ms.
I think I
Robles?
submitted that.
I think our staff also put it together, pati yung ocular, no? Ayan
That's
po.
the one.
Paki-slowly lang yan. So, eto po yung sa ocular. Yan po yung sa Rosario. Tapos, yung kabila po. Eto po yung sa
Library niya.
library. Oo. Coincidence lang po.
Yeah.
Okay. Sige po, ma'am. Let's go back to the pictures of Ms. Robles.
Yeah, that's a view from of the living room also. That's his den.
Okay, ma'am. Unless
Thank
there's
you,
any...
Ms. Robles.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, at this point in time, may I request, as is done in court, no, there's just a few questions very quickly that I'd like to ask, but to make sure that this will be either to their benefit if they're telling to the truth or their detriment if not. May I ask that that Attorney Subido and Mr. Cuervo be brought to my room, which is just across the hall, and that the televisions be turned off, and that they be not allowed to use their cell phones for 5 minutes while I ask Mr. Chu. Then when you come back, I will be asking you the same questions. May I ask the Sergeant
So,
of Arms to escort them,
It's an
sir, and then my staff.
exclusion, no?
Yeah.
Exclusion from the hearing room
They're just 3 or 4
Ah,
questions.
so that we can, they will not hear the answers of Mr. Chu. Sige. Relax muna, Panyero, at Attorney Subido.
This is done, Mr. Chair, both in court and also in game shows, so I think
Mr. Cuervo,
shouldn't
in the
offend
room.
anybody. Bakit sa akin may, ang nagdagdagan ko lang ba yan? So ito na yung ano to?
You want a reminder to counsel, no?
Sorry?
Reminder not to provide the
Ay,
answers.
ay, ay.
And a reminder to counsel of Mr. Chu not to provide him with the answers. Okay? Let him answer from his own personal knowledge. But of course, if you want to advise him about his rights, feel free to do so.
Okay na ba? Nasa loob na po ng kwarto. Can someone check lang if they're in the room already? We did this once in the House of Representatives not knowing that there was a TV inside. So, narinig din lahat nung tinanong. Mr. Chu, pakiulit niyo po yung kwento sa amin how this all came about. Sabi niyo last time, sometime 2013 ho ba? Your best friend, Mr. Subido, Attorney Subido, came to you and saying there's an interesting... Can you be the one to narrate so I won't testify for you? More or less, at what time, what did he say, then what happened afterwards?
Your Honor, pinakilala po ako ni Attorney Subido kay Mr. Gregorio sometime late 2012. And then nagkasarahan kami ng deal 2013.
So late 2012, so November, December, gano'n.
I believe it's August or September.
August, September, okay. And then,
we conducted due diligence. Sinama po ako ni Mr. Gregorio sa site, and then we entered into the contract signing.
sige po, isa-isay natin. So, August, September, nagkakilala kayo. Sinabi sa ni ni Attorney Subido na, oh, magandang property to, pakikilala kita. So, a few days later, nag-meet kayo.
Yes.
Naalala niyo pa kung saan kayo nag-meet? Or, ano?
I believe somewhere in Jupiter Street.
Okay, restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay. And then doon, sinabi na niya na he's willing to sell.
Yes.
Nagsabi na ba siya ng amount at that time?
Well, more or less, the indication is about 400 million pesos, Your Honor.
Okay, so doon mo nakuha yung 400 million.
Yes.
Okay, hindi na kayo nagtawaran nun.
Well, the standard practice is to engage a third-party appraisal to verify the amount, and then to engage the services of the law firm for, let's say, legal due diligence, and then to ask technical people to inspect for the technical due diligence, and then to ask our financial staff to assess the financial aspect.
So when you did that, so medyo pareho kayong sa Jupiter, no? Pareho kayong interesado. So you said the next step was the legal due diligence.
The next step is the legal due diligence plus operational due diligence,
Okay.
which is sasamahan ako ni Mr. Gregorio sa site to check for myself.
Kanino niyo po inassign yung legal due diligence?
Sa law firm nila Martin.
At ano po ang kasama doon?
Well, it's
Tignan yung mga titulo.
It's basically to assess kung legitimate owner ba siya, tama siya ba yung dapat kong kausapin.
And ano sabi nung due diligence na binigay sa'yo?
Well, it turned out in the due diligence report that he's the legitimate owner of the property.
Even if none of the titles and none of the tax deck at that time was in his name?
Well, Your Honor, I will have to rely on the legal competency of my counsel.
Sabi niyo po kasi, binasa niyo yung report,
Yeah.
nakalagay sa report, lumalabas siya may-ari.
Yes.
So what is it a conclusion doon? Siya may-ari?
Yes.
Hindi nakalagay doon na he claims to be the owner but none of the titles or none of the were in his names.
No, I was advised of the risk, but based on the business viability, I think it's an engagement, it's a transaction that is worth pursuing.
Sige po. So direct answer po, ano nakalagay doon sa due diligence as far as the ownership or the names in the tax decks at saka doon po sa titulo? Nakalagay po doon na walang nakapangalan sa kanya.
Well, nakalagay po doon that Mr. Gregorio is the legitimate owner and with enforceable right over the 145-hectare Rosario, Batangas property, Your Honor.
And then, bakit?
Well,
Conclusion po yon. Anong, di ba sabi niyo yung report, kaya sabi niyo, alam niyong may risk. Ano nga yung risk factor na nakalagay doon?
the title will have to will require time before it can be turned over
Okay.
to Sancham.
Anong hawak ni Mr. Gregorio for them to say that he was the legitimate owner?
Well, that's a legal aspect. Based on my understanding, Your Honor, there are deed of sale or there are tax deck that will prove that he's the legitimate owner over the property.
Isasubmit niyo sa amin yung yung due diligence.
Well, I will as much as possible I will give you all the pertaining
Bakit po as much as possible? Sa inyo naman yun. Yes. Hindi ba answerable by yes or no naman yun? You will give it to us or not give it to us?
Your Honor, there are disclosure rules because we are a publicly listed company. If my committee allows me to release all the internal company documents, then I will comply.
Mr. Chairman, at this point in time, kung ganyan ang magiging attitude ni Mr. Chu, after already committing that he will bring all documents, I request that we will issue a subpoena duces tecum for all those documents because there is no law protecting that. That is not a secret of the company. That's not a secret formula. That's not protected by the secrecy of bank accounts. It's a due diligence report. No?
Your Honor, as long as it's within the limits of the law, I will
Yes.
I will submit.
Sir, ilang beses ko narinig sa inyo sa TV yung limits of the law. Ano pagkaintindi nyo sa limits of the law?
Well, Your Honor, kailangan po tayo sumunod sa batas.
Yes. And do you know that in the law, there are a lot of rights that you can waive? So, alam nyo, sunod pa rin sa batas yan.
Well, my lawyer would advise me if I have to exercise right to protect myself.
Pero sumunod pa rin sa batas yon.
Yes.
Yes. So, katulad ng bank account nyo, di ba, ayaw nyo pabuksan.
Yeah.
That's not illegal. It's legal na buksan mo yung bank account mo dahil sa'yo yun eh.
Hindi po Your Honor, we are bound by bank secrecy.
No, you're not bound by bank secrecy law. You have the right to bank secrecy, but you can waive it.
Your Honor, as a publicly listed company, I have my right to protect my shareholders.
That's
and
right.
I also have the right to protect my family
Why, do you have
exposing.
something to hide sa bank accounts nyo?
Your Honor, wala pong, this is a...
Then they'll not be exposed with anything, di ba?
Your Honor, it's common sense. Do you expose your bank accounts?
I will. Sabay tayo.
Your Honor.
Sabay tayo. I only have, I think, 3 or 4 accounts. Yung isa parating konti laman. Sabay tayo with Commissioner Kim. Kim Chu Cayetano tayo.
Your Honor, wala kayong risk to be kidnapped, unlike myself. So,
Sir,
Your Honor,
walang risk po kayong makidnap. Sinabi nyo na sa TV, 5 billion ang pera nyo.
Your Honor, I'm not risking the life of my family
Sir,
members.
you already said na you're worth 5 billion yung kumpanya nyo. So all the kidnappers already know that.
Your Honor, are you exposing me to all
No, I'm not
this?
exposing you. You exposed yourself, sir. I'm saying, ikaw na nagsabi, kung ikaw, sir, ay private person, lahat ng tao hindi alam magkano pera mo, tapos biglang si Cayetano sabihin, yan, no? 20 million na sa bangko, ine-expose kita. Eh, ikaw yung nasa lahat ng TV, eh. Sinabi mo, ako? Dami? Eh, billion ang pera ko, eh. So, you exposed yourself.
Your Honor, I said the company is worth billion, not billions ang pera ko.
Okay, and then you said, dito lang sa Bandila kagabi, di ba? Sabi mo, tinanong ka ni Ses Drilon. Eh, pero marami kang investor. Sabi mo, anong sagot mo? Oo, pero ako majority.
Yes.
Oh, so ibig sabihin, majority ng billion sa'yo.
Yes, that's in terms of shareholding, Your Honor.
Yes, and if you sell the shareholdings, sa'yo pa rin yun.
Your Honor, pag nakidnap po, hindi mo pwede sabihin sa kidnapper, teka lang, benta ko muna yung shares bago magbabayad ng ransom.
Bakit hindi? Bakit hindi? Mr. You're forgetting as senators, pati sa peace and order. Meron pong kinikidnap, sinasabi, within 30-40 days, magbayad ka ng 5 million. Problema mo kung saan kukunin. So, yung iba na may listed shares, binebenta nila.
Your
Kung
Honor,
may bibili ng shares mo.
Your Honor, I think we have to go focus on the topic about
Kayo
the
po ang nagpapaalis ng topic, sir, because paulit-ulit kayo, sir, sa lahat ng TV na sinasabi nyo, basta't nasa batas, payag ako.
Yes,
Tapos
Your Honor.
pag sinabing ilabas yung dokumento, ayaw mo. Pag sinabing yung bank account mo, ayaw mo. Pag sinabing pinag-usapan ng law office, ayaw mo. Nasa batas yan, sir, because you can waive it. Nasa batas bilang isang citizen, si Alang Cayetano. Bilang isang politiko, may salin ako. Pero hindi nyo pwedeng buksan bank account ko. Wine-waive ko ngayon. Buksan nyo bank account ko. Yun yung pwede sa batas.
Your Honor, politiko po kayo, ako negosyante. Your Honor, I have rights to protect my shareholders and my family and I'm not waiving my rights.
Okay. So don't keep saying on television na basta't nasa batas. Sabihin mo, basta't nasa interest mo. Dahil magkaiba yun eh.
Your Honor,
Sa batas po pwede, pero sa interest mo, ayaw mo ipakita.
Your Honor, nasa batas po yun na may karapatan po ako.
Yes, at nasa batas din na pwede mo i-waive yung rights, di ba? Pero ayaw mo.
Your Honor, I'm not waiving my rights.
Yes, so that's clear. Because sa TV, pag hindi kami kaharap mo, ang parati mo pinapalabas sa tao, open na open ka. Pero pagdating na dun sa mga kwarto na may tao, pagdating na sa bank account, etc., ayaw nyo nang buksan. Okay, so but let me go back. So yung due diligence, nakalagay ba doon o hindi? Kasi makukuha na rin namin eh.
Nakalagay po doon sa due diligence report that this
Na ni
is
isa walang nakatitulo sa kanya.
but siya po yung legitimate owner of
Sige
the
po.
property.
So sir, nakalagay po doon, isa-isay natin po ha. Nakalagay doon na ni isang titulo, ni isang tax deck, wala sa pangalan niya.
Hindi po specific na nakalagay na ganyan.
Eh ano po yung nakalagay?
Your Honor, nakalagay po doon na si Mr. Gregorio ay legitimate owner over the property.
Sir, that is a conclusion in law. No due diligence. Ang dami kong kaibigan, pati sa stock exchange, pati sa SEC. Wala pong due diligence na ibibigay ka conclusion of law. Sasabihin sa akin ni Senator Pimentel, bilin mo yung property, legitimate owner si Senator Trillanes. Nakalagay doon bakit? Because minana niya sa lolo niya, because he owns a majority of the shares and the property are in the shares, because hawak niya yung titulo. Walang due diligence na nakalagay doon. Lokohan ho yun kung ganun ang gagawin natin, Mr. Chu. There has to be a legal basis to make a legal conclusion. What was the legal basis in the due diligence? Kung ang ipapakita sa iyo ni Attorney Subido na he's the legitimate owner, anong kaibahan nun? Nung kaharap mo si Mr. Loriano na sinabi ni Mr. Gregorio Loriano, akin yan. E di tinype lang po ni Mr. Subido.
Your Honor, that's your opinion.
No, that's not opinion, that's a fact. Due diligence is looking at the documents to show that you can make a conclusion. You told us that due diligence made a conclusion. The SEC is here. I will ask the SEC later on. Kung nakalagay doon, legitimate owner, pero walang basis, is that due diligence? They will answer it is not.
Your Honor, definitely there has been a legal due diligence conducted. Of course,
That's why I'm asking you, what was the result of the due diligence? What was the basis, sir?
meron siyang full right and ownership over the 145
Paano? Ano nakalagay sa due diligence? Paano siyang may full right?
Well, there are tax tech and deed of sale that would prove that he's the owner.
O yun nga tinatanong ko, ba't pinapaikot nyo pa eh? So nakalagay doon sa due diligence na walang pangalan siya sa titulo at saka sa tax deck, pero meron mga deed of sale.
Yes, Your Honor. Yan naman po yung sinasabi ko.
Okay. No, that's what I was asking eh. Pabalik-balik ka lang sa conclusion eh. No? Magkalinawan tayo, Mr. Chu, so that we can get to the bottom of this and we can save time, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The conclusion was legitimate owner si Mr. Gregorio Laureano.
Yes.
Okay. Anong basis? Dahil yung titulo at saka yung tax deck na hindi nakapangalan sa kanya, may deed of sale sa kanya. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sa kanya naka-deed of sale lahat o blanco?
Nasa pangalan niya, Your Honor.
Nasa pangalan niya?
Yeah.
Okay. Hindi lang niya nire-register?
Your Honor, yes.
Okay. Anong date yung deed of sale?
Hindi ko na ho maalala, Your Honor.
Anong klaseng due diligence yun?
Your Honor, sa dami po ng binabasa ko na due diligence report, hindi ko ho maalala yung ganong klaseng
Ikaw ang businessman, hindi ako. No? Sabihin mo sa akin bakit importante yung date ng deed of sale sa due diligence. Lahat ng negosyante, ipila ko dito. Mula sa sari-sari store owner hanggang sa nasa index ng PSE. Sasabihin sa akin ngayon kung bakit sa due diligence ang date sa deed of sale ay importante. Pero since wala sila dito, si Commissioner Kim ang sasagot kung hindi mo sasagutin.
Well, I guess it's yung kailangan na pagbayad ng tax.
Okay. So, hindi mo tinignan yung date.
Your Honor, hindi ko po obligasyon. Seller,
Ba't hindi mo obligasyon?
Your Honor, seller,
Hindi ba maapektuhan ang price?
Your Honor, seller po ang may obligasyon magbayad ng tax kung sakali. Hindi po ang buyer.
At pagka binili mo at hindi bayad ang tax, ano mangyayari?
Well, may penalty.
May penalty, tapos kukunin din yung titulo, kukunin din yung lupa, di ba? I-auction din yung lupa, di ba? Hahabulin yung lupa.
Well, hindi naman po, meron naman tayong control measures in terms of deliverables. Yung kaya nakita niyo ho sa kontrata na may installment po yung bayaran.
May installment ang bayaran ho at may control measure kung walang problema ang lupa.
Yes, Your
Kaya nga nyo due diligence.
Correct.
Pero kung may problema ang lupa, masasayang yung 400 million mo kasi ubos yun sa pambayad pa lang ng tax, hindi mo pa makukuha yung lupa, hindi ba?
Pero hindi naman na...
Hindi. Tama po ba? Hindi.
Well, hindi naman natin kailangan bayaran kung hindi matatransfer yung title sa atin.
Kung na-transfer nga sa inyo, pero may fraud dahil hindi binayaran yung tax, kaya dapat pinakita ng inyong due diligence.
Paano naman ho matatransfer yung title sa akin na hindi nagbayad ng tax? Hindi ho lulusot sa BIR yan, Your Honor.
Pinapalusot nyo nga nakita ko Kasi blanco ang inyong deed of sale, hindi nyo nilagyan ng petsa. Huwag mo ako tatanungin kung paano dahil alam ko kung paano Dahil trabaho ko, alamin kung paano. Oh.
Can I butt in and ask Commissioner Henares, isn't it in the interest of the buyer that the proper taxes should be paid arising out of the transaction?
Sir, under the tax code and under the revenue regulation for 2-98, there's the obligation to pay the tax shifted to the buyer. No? Because we have a requirement that they should withhold the tax and remit it to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And it is to the interest of the buyer that they pay the taxes at the time of the sale because you have a surcharge of 25%, you have a penalty interest of 20%, and it keeps on running. No?
That's
By
right.
the time we finish, you might not have any property anymore because we can attach the property as a payment.
That's why, am I correct, ma'am, that if you don't look at the date and it ends up that the price of the property is already the price of the tax, kukunin ng gobyerno yung property.
Tsaka in this case, dalawang tax ang babayaran dito, no? Kasi yung una, kung ilan yung na-transfer, no? So, kunyari from the original owner, pumunta ko kay Kasi nagugulo.
Actually, ma'am, yan yung next question ko. But thank you for reading my mind, di ba? Di ba, ma'am, bawal yung si Chu bibili kay Kim, and then hindi niya i-register, and then ibebenta niya kay Cayetano, at ipapalabas niya na diretso from Kim to Cayetano. Because bali yung capital gains from you to him is one,
then from him to you
me is another.
one.
So, kung blanco yung deed of sale niya sa'yo, katulad nung sinabi ni Ate Maria na kinuha ni Vice President yung ID niya, ililipat daw, pero hindi naman nilipat sa pangalan niya, nilipat sa third person. So, may tax evasion doon dahil they left out one transaction.
Yes, sir. There's a attempt to evade tax, which is the one leg. No? There's two taxes that they evaded. One is the capital gains, and the other is the documentary stamp tax.
More or less, ma'am, no? I know you have to compute it, pero magaling naman kayo sa math. 400 million, magkano capital gains nun?
6% of that. So that's around 24 million.
Tapos magkano po kung may fraud? Magkano yung penalty? Ibig sabihin,
50% to yung fraud, no? So, of 24. So plus 12. Then plus 20%.
Okay, and then 20 years nilang ginagawa.
Sir, every 4 years, you already equal the tax, no? So, kung you're 20 years yan, siguro times 5. So, 24 times 5 is around 120 million na ho.
Okay. So, 120 million na yung tax. Oh, sir, bibili ka 400 million, ang utang mong tax 120 million. Yung by due diligence.
Your Honor, clarification, no? Wala naman pong intention to evade tax. Lahat po ng
Sir, the way to hell is full of good intentions. Hindi natin pinag-uusapan dito intention o hindi. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, meron bang tax evasion o wala? At inamin mo na kanina na yung mga tax deck wala kay Mr. Gregorio Laureano, nililipat diretso sa inyo.
Hindi
So
po.
tax evasion po yun.
Yung kung baga dun sa original transaction niya, yung buyer si Mr. Gregorio sa mga seller ng property. Now on
20 years ago po binenta, hindi nga nilipat sa pangalan niya.
Well,
tax evasion na on his part yun.
Your Honor,
Tapos binili mo, hindi pa rin nilipat sa inyo. Sir, di ba sa Sunchamp sabi mo 70% may pangalan na. O you're under oath at mga tao ko na sa Batangas the last 3 days, kaya hindi ka pwede magsinungaling. Okay? San galing yung nakapangalan ngayon sa Sunchamp? Sa original owner or kay kay Laureano Gregorio?
Kay Mr. Gregorio.
Hindi niya in-overtake?
Hindi po. Yung tax deck na nalipat ni Mr. Gregorio sa Sunchamp pertains to the structures.
Hindi structures. Lupa pinag-uusapan natin eh.
As far as I'm concerned, yung as of now, wala
Sabi niyo po nung last hearing, 70% ng lahat ng titulo at tax deck nakapangalan na sa inyo. Yun ang sinabi mo, pwede kong pabasa ulit dito. Ngayon, bago na naman ang sasabihin niyo.
Hindi, Your Honor. Ang talagang naipakita ko po talaga ay ang mga tax deck ng mga structures na nailipat na sa Sunchamp.
So, hindi nung property.
Yung sa lupa, as far as I'm concerned, wala po akong
So,
sinasabi.
babaguhin nyo na naman yon.
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Hindi, tinanong ko po. Ako po, sir, nagtanong sa inyo. Sabi ko na, kanino nakapangalan mga tax deck at saka titulo? Titulo po, tinanong ko sa inyo. Sabi niyo, sir, nililipat na. At 70% nakalipat na. Okay, ito pa, isa pang tanong. Ano pang anomalya ang ginawa ni Mr. Gregorio sa pagre-register sa Sunchamp ng mga structures? Kayo po may-ari. Sabi niyo, nag-due diligence kayo eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
O, anong anomalya ang ginawa niya? Kasi kayo mananagot dahil may anomalya.
Ano pong,
Hindi niyo alam?
Ano pong anomalya, Your Honor?
Okay. Kung ikaw may-ari ng property, may building sa property mo,
Yes,
si Alang Cayetano ba pwedeng pumunta sa assessors, i-register ko sa pangalan ko yung structure?
You're referring to the unregistered structures?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Your land, sir.
yeah.
Lupa ni Mr. Chu, 1 hectare. 300 square meter, bahay ni Cayetano. Pupunta ako sa assessor. Walang hawak na dokumento. Sabi ko lang, akin yung structure, i-register mo sa akin. Pwede yan?
Well, Your Honor, the instance na yan, Ang totoo po, yung mga structure na may tax deck na ilipat ni Mr. Gregorio sa pangalan ng Sancham, pero nung nag-contact tayo ng due diligence, meron po talagang mga structure na walang tax deck. As a publicly listed company, hindi po natin ina-allow yan na meron...
Sir, ang haba, ang simple lang tanong ko eh. Pwede ba yung ginawa ko? Hindi.
Well, I think, Your Honor, that's a legal question. Pero as far
Pero
as...
sir, kasama sa due diligence sa pagbibili ng lupa, lalo sa agricultural land, na sinabi mo expert ka, na sinabi mo na standard. Ang sagot po, hindi pwede. Kasi kailangan po maipakita ko na meron tayong usapan. Dahil po sa civil code, napaka-simple, the accessory follows the principal.
Pero may...
Yung building, ang may-ari po, yung may-ari ng lupa, unless may kasulatan kami. Si Mr. Gregorio po, nailipat niya yung mga building sa Sanchamp na hindi naman nakapangalan sa kanya yung mga tax deck.
meron
Na
po-
wala namang kasulatan sa mga may-ari ng tax deck na sa kanya yon. Yun po yung anomalya na na-discover namin. Unless nire-repair ngayon.
Hindi,
At
may memorandum of agreement naman po, na ba?
may memorandum of agreement, ikaw at saka si Mr. Gregorio.
Opo.
Eh, ang tax deck at saka titulo, wala sa pangalan ni Mr. Gregorio eh.
Well,
O, tinanggap ng assessor. So, anomalya yon.
hindi ko ho problema yon, Your Honor.
Ikaw may-ari eh.
Actually, Your Honor, I'm the one that is correcting a mistake. So, Your Honor, hindi ko maintindihan ano pong anomalya dito sa case ko.
A mistake over a mistake that makes you a tax evader.
Your Honor, kung ako po ay nag-violate ng meron pong tax deficiency or tax law, handa po naman ako humarap sa anumang kaso na isasampa sa akin ng BIR.
Eh, hindi ko naman, wala ka naman choice eh. Kaya handa ka o hindi, haharap ka kung nag-evade ka ng tax.
Opo, Your
Ang
Honor.
sinasabi ko, sir, hindi yon. Kasi paulit-ulit ka sa TV na yung mga senador na kinakalabang ka, gagamitin ng gobyerno. Hindi namin kayang gamitin ng gobyerno. Kami ni Commissioner Kim, minsan hindi kami nagkakasundo. Sa CARP, minsan hindi kami nagkakasundo. Hindi ko sila nakokontrol. Executive sila, legislative. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, simple lang po, sir. Sabi mo may due diligence. Pero sa due diligence nyo, hindi sinabi doon na matagal na yung bentahan, hindi ni-register. And anyone, ang dami ko na po nakausap sa real estate, nakausap ko na rin po sa agri. Walang bibili ng lupa na hindi mo na tinitignan na walang lien yon, na walang attachment yon, at saka yung deed of sale titignan. At kung papayag man daw sila na bilhin na register, na blanco, etc., sesiguruduhin nila na yung buong period pati penalty bayad. Kasi kung hindi, pati sila nag-evade ng taxes. You did not do any of that, sir.
Your Honor, this is a business decision based on financial viability. At isa pa, sinigurado ko na protektado ang aking mga investor as and
Hindi nga
shareholders.
protektado, sir. Kasi sa 400 million mo, kung dun sa simpleng computation, lugi ka na ng 120 million.
Your Honor, basahin niyo po yung memorandum of agreement. Nakalagay po doon ng mga indemnities. Kung meron po silang pagkukulang, deduct po yan sa proceeds, Your Honor.
Basahin niyo po yung sarili niyong memorandum, no? Sinabi based on appraised price.
Yeah,
Di
pero
ba?
meron po isang clause doon, Your
Sinama
Honor.
niyo ba sa appraisal price yung ano? Sinama niyo sa appraisal price yung ano, yung mga lien o yung mga taxes?
Lock, stock, and barrel po, Your Honor.
So sinama niyo.
Opo.
Sinama niyo.
Alin po?
Sa pag-appraise kay Mr. Cuervo nagpa-appraise kayo, di ba?
Opo.
Sinabi niyo, sir, isama niyo sa pag-appraise yung kung may utang yung mga yon, kung whatever, kung yung mga ano. Kasi yun ang normal. Any businessman would do that.
Part of the due diligence, Your Honor.
Part of the due diligence. So, part nung pag-appraise ni Mr. Cuervo.
I believe as a property appraiser, part ng trabaho nila i-check yun.
So, chinek ni Mr. Cuervo.
Yun ang engagement namin. Pero
Yun ang engagement nyo. So,
Opo.
kung ano, nalusutan siya.
nandito
Kung
na
meron.
po siya, tanungin nyo na lang
Sige,
po mamaya.
tatanungin ko siya mamaya. But as far as you're concerned, kasama sa due diligence yung appraisal at dapat ginawa niya yon.
Dapat.
Okay. At kung nakita mo yun doon, ibabawas mo dapat sa presyo o papaayos mo muna.
Nasa kontrata po.
Nasa kontrata. Okay. And you're allowing Mr. Cuervo to release yung nakita niya sa kanyang ano,
I believe hindi
sa
po
appraisal niya.
appraisal report, walang problema.
Walang problema. Sige. limiting of conditions. All existing liens, encumbrance, if any, has been disregarded and the property is appraised free and clear from any responsible ownership. Yan po ang nasa Cuervo report. Exactly opposite of what you just told me now.
Well, Your Honor, yan po yung
Sandali lang, gusto kong samsamin yung paano mo malulusutan ito. Sige po.
Well, Your Honor, when you engage a third party, siyempre sasabihin mo yung gusto mong i-check. Ngayon, siguro part na ng disclosure ng mga appraiser yung ganitong klaseng statement.
Hindi nga eh. Limitation nga eh. Ang sinabi niya, in-appraise niya, pero hindi niya isasama yung kakasabi mo lang paulit-ulit kanina, ba dapat kasama? Sa businessman na tama, kasama yan. Eh, pumirma ka dito eh. In-approve mo to eh. Ikaw nagbayad nito, di ba? Sino nagbayad nito?
Ako po nagbayad.
Ikaw nagbayad nito. Sino nag-engage sa kanila? Ikaw directly?
No, I asked Martin to engage them.
Okay, you asked Martin to engage them. Tapos ano? Eh, nakalagay sa limitation eh. Na hindi kasama. You just told me 2 minutes ago na kasama.
Your Honor, sa mga engagement with third-party consultants, normal yun na may isang disclosure na to protect themselves. Pero
No, sir. No, sir. There are appraisal. They're a company that does appraisals. Sa umpisa, sinabi na niya yung limiting conditions. The first, all existing liens and encumbrance, if any, have been disregarded and the property is appraised free and clear from under responsible ownership. Diba? Let's say, number 3, we made no investigation of and assume no responsibility for titles to or liabilities against appraised properties. Sinabi niya na sa'yo, bago pa kayo magpa-appraise, na hindi niya isasama. But 5 minutes ago, paulit-ulit ka, nakasama yan. So meaning, Mr. Chu, you don't know what you're talking about.
Hindi naman, Your Honor. Standard naman yun sa amin.
Standard magsinungaling sa committee pag nahuli.
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Sir, kakasabi mo lang kanina, gusto mo pa-replay ko, nakatape to.
Your Honor, hindi po ako nagsisinungaling. Pag nag-engage po tayo, normally sinasabi po natin anong gusto natin. Ngayon, kung ano yung
Eh, hindi nga sinunod yung gusto eh. Pumayag ka, binayaran mo eh.
Well,
Tapos kanina sinabi mo sa akin kasama. Nung binasa ko sa'yo at huli ka, sasabihin mo ngayon, eh minsan hindi nila sinasama. Paano po tayo how can we have the meeting of the mind? How can we get to the bottom of this, sir? If in our face you're going to lie to us.
Your Honor, siguro with regards to appraisal report, and nandito naman yung resource person, you can ask him later.
Ikaw nga ho nagbayad at sabi mo kasama sa binayaran mo dahil business ka man nagmagaling ka, dahil hindi pwede sa iyo walang due diligence, kailangan ang titulo tinitignan kung may lien o wala. Sabi mo yon, paulit-ulit ka. And then, nung binasa ko sa iyo na hindi kasama, sasabihin mo, maghahanap ka ng dahilan.
Hindi, Your Honor, pwede mo naman tanungin si Mr. Cuervo kung sinabi
Hindi ko na kailangan, nandito na, ikaw na nagsabi. Sinabi mo, sir, kanina, gusto niyo ko, i-replay natin.
Hindi, Your Honor, hindi ko
O manood na lang tayo ng news mamayang gabi, dahil malamang papalabas nila eh.
Your Honor, hindi ko naman po binabaliktad yung sinabi ko. Ang pinapaliwanag ko po na isang standard yan sa mga consultants to put disclaimers.
This is not just a disclaimer, sir. This is a limitation. Ang disclaimer po, sasabihin nila, ginawa ko yung gusto mo, pero hindi ko mahanap yon. Disclaimer yon. Ito po, limiting conditions. Ibig sabihin, nung engage mo siya, sinabi niya, hindi ko sasama dito kung may lien yan o wala. If you paid him more and asked him to investigate the lien, lalabas. And you told me 5 minutes ago that definitely kasama. And when I read you this, because hindi mo alam na meron ka nito, di ba? Ganyan mangyayari.
Your Honor,
But anyway, sir, hindi na tayo magkakaano kasi umaabot na dito tayo na your word, hindi na nga your word against my word, your words against your words eh, dahil ikaw lang naman nagsasalita. But anyway, Mr. Chair, just to continue this exercise and get to the bottom, may I ask now that Mr. Subido be brought in, no? And may I ask that he be not seated beside Mr. Chu, just so that I can clarify this with him also.
Maybe call Attorney Subido. So, Mr. Chu, while waiting for Attorney Subido, I have a few questions. From your agreement, no? Sabi dito sa first paragraph, this agreement pertains to the 150-hectare property of Mr. Gregorio in Rosario, Batangas. So, and I'm getting different figures. Is it 143? I encountered 143 or 150. So, what did it turn out? What is the area of the property?
Well, Your Honor, when we signed the contract, the assumption that Mr. Gregorio gave us is 150 hectares.
Turns out
Turns out to be 145 hectares.
145.
Opo.
Okay. My question is, number one, the paragraph I just read already assumes that he is the owner of the 150 hectares. What was your basis in accepting this statement that he's the owner?
Well, basically, I rely on the professional comments ng legal counsel ko.
So yun yung sa due diligence sinabi na siya yung owner.
Yeah.
So 150.
May ask that Mr. Subido is that over here, no? Para lang, sir, pasensya na, no? Ayaw ko lang kita tabi kay
Maybe
Mr.
doon.
Chu para, ano? No. Further or nearer, pero pwede bang
sige.
hindi lang itabi kay...
Sige,
a little bit
Manyero.
more here, sir. Yung hindi kayo
Panyero,
magkakarinigan.
dito ka na lang.
ah.
Dito, sige, dito. Attorney Subido. Martin Subido. Senator Cayetano.
Panyero, can you tell us again, no? Paano nabuo tong deal na to? So, sometime 2013, 2012, you approached Mr. Chu, tama ba?
I made the introduction, Your Honor, for...
Before the introduction, sinabi mo ba dinner tayo or sinabi mo, Mr. Chu,
no, sir. No, sir. I mentioned to Tony
Okay.
that
you have a client?
there's a person who's interested in selling his property in Batangas, and that he might be interested because it's in his business.
Okay. Mga anong date to?
This should be in the, I think, fourth quarter of 2012, Your Honor.
So, mga August, September, more or less. Okay. And then, sabi ni Mr. Chu, parang interesado siya.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, what was the next step?
So I arranged the meeting for them, Your Honor, and then after that, they were the ones who already
Saan
discussed.
kayo nag-meeting?
Sir, I was not part of that.
Kasabi ni Mr. Chu, tatlo
Meeting.
kayong nag-meeting.
Your Honor, that I am a transaction
Mr. Chu,
lawyer
you
in
just
this.
said na tatlo kayong nag-meeting. You even said where, di ba?
Your Honor, tinanong mo kung saan kami nagkita ni Mr. Gregorio. Sabi ko, Jupiter, pero wala kayong sinabi na tatlo kami o dalawa, Your Honor.
Okay.
For clarification.
Sige po. So, silang dalawa pinag-meet mo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alam mo saan sila nag-meeting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Saan sila nag-meeting?
In a restaurant, Your Honor.
Where? Where,
It's a
sir?
specific restaurant, Your Honor.
Or location, or where mismo?
Along Jupiter, Your Honor.
Okay. And after that, nagkasundo sila.
I think there are several other meetings, Your Honor, after that. I
Okay.
came in
When did you
they
come in,
already
sir?
said that the commercial terms have been basically agreed upon, and that I was asked just to validate on the legal side the rights of the seller, Your Honor.
And how did you validate that right? Yun yung sinasabi niyan, due diligence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Give me a minute.
Did you start, Tony Subido, with the due diligence
That would be
over the legal rights of the seller?
that would be in late December, early January, Your Honor.
So, okay, so you started the due diligence, no? And then si Mr. Chu said kanina, he started the, sir, how did you describe it? Operational due diligence.
Operational due diligence, sinama po ako ni Mr. Gregorio sa farm.
Yes.
And then legal due diligence is conducted by
Okay.
Martin.
Yes. So you did the legal due diligence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us the process of how you did that?
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Gregorio presented to me the documents that would show his rights over the property. I went over these documents.
And what were these documents?
He showed me the titles over the properties.
And none were,
He showed me-
none were in his name.
There were some in his name, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then he showed me to those titles which were not in his names. He showed me deeds of sales. Some were SPAs. Some was a long-term lease.
Anong date ng mga deed of sale?
Your Honor, I do not recall the specific dates of these deeds of sale. My objective, Your Honor, was to determine if Mr. Gregorio indeed has rights over these properties.
And what's the significance, Panyero, whether the dates were recent or whether it was a long, long time ago?
For what purpose, Your Honor?
If, when you're doing the due diligence and so pinapakita sa'yo ni Senator Pimentel na siya na may-ari ng lupa but wala sa pangalan niya, but he shows the deed of sale from me to him, you will look at the date, di ba?
Your Honor, I'm looking at his rights.
So you don't look at the date?
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't look at the date?
Your Honor, that what is important for me are the rights that Mr. Gregorio has.
So now can you tell me why the date is important?
For what purpose, Your Honor?
You tell me. You're the lawyer doing the due diligence.
I mentioned that what is important for me is that he has rights over the property.
So it's not important for you if he evaded taxes and that the property does not have any value anymore?
Your Honor, that is not my concern, Your Honor. If you would notice...
What kind of legal due diligence is that?
Your Honor, if you would notice in the agreement, there is already a provision there that if there is any liability resulting from the rights of Mr. Gregorio that is to be acquired by Mr. Chu, then it will be the liability of Mr. Gregorio, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
There's
Tama yun, Panyero. As far as protecting him na babalik yung pera niya. But so far, as being a part, no, number one, of tax evasion, and number two, na mawala yung property sa inyo, di ba? Part ng due diligence yan. Your client has already stated sa media that he's already spent 50 million improvements. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay.
and
So,
I confirm that the client
that is-
acquired valid legal rights over the property.
So what if lalabas no na inevade ni Mr. Loriano Gregorio in taxes at ubos yon, so kukunin ni Commissioner Kim yung lupa, i-auction, kasama na yung 50 million investment nyo. Hindi ba napahamak ang stockholders nyo, no?
No, Your Honor, because precisely the terms of the agreement put the burden on these matters on Mr. Gregorio.
Yes.
And that the terms of payment is precisely to address this risk,
But the
Your
taxes will attach to the property.
Honor. Yes, Your Honor, but there will be
And
a
if Mr.
retention amount, Your
Gregorio
Honor.
and Mr. Gregorio does not have the money to pay you for the 50 million, you're held.
Your
Diba?
Honor, there's
You're
a
left
retention
held-
amount under the contract.
Wala nang contract, wala nang pera eh. 5 million ang binayad nyo, na 50 million na nilagay nyo sa property eh.
Yes, Your Honor, that's precisely why the terms of the payment is that there is a portion of the consideration that will be set aside to address any of these probabilities.
How
Your
much?
Honor. If I recall, 135 million, Your Honor.
Ba, ma'am, parang magaling sa math. Halos umeksakto dun sa kwenta natin nung tax evasion taxes nila.
That found?
Your Honor, in the portion there that any liabilities that may arise out of that paragraph shall be deducted from the amount still due.
Yeah, but there's no mention of 135 million.
No, Your Honor, but that's in the payments that have subsequently been made. There's a retention amount there, Your Honor.
Yeah, but that's for the record, the retention amount being mentioned by Attorney Subido is nowhere to be found in this one-page agreement.
Yes, Your Honor. What is there is the general provision that there will be a right on the part of the buyer to be offset
Kaya
on
nga,
the unpaid.
if I were Mr. Gregorio, where would I find that retention of 135 million? Saan?
Your Honor, there were, when the post-dated checks were issued, that is indicated there, Your Honor.
How?
Your Honor,
How do you indicate a retention amount in checks?
no, Your Honor, not in the checks. In the checks, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's the final item of X number amount to be retained until full completion.
So also covered by a check.
No, Your Honor.
So you wrote him a letter. You
Yes, Your
gave
Honor.
him
In
a
short,
note.
it's
You gave him
a-
a note that 135 will be
It's
retained.
retained and for final deliverables, Your Honor.
Precisely, you gave him a note so that he will know. Tama?
Yes, Your
Kasi
Honor.
it's nowhere
It's
to be
not.
found here. Eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Senator Cayetano.
Sir, Attorney, are you referring to paragraph 5? Yun ba? Yes, please.
Record, Vice Mayor Mercado showed us how many hearings ago a video of the residence, the house of the Vice President, which is actually available also on YouTube because I think TV station featured his home in a program. No? So, ma'am, what are those tags that you mentioned? Are they captured in one of your pictures?
Yes, Senator.
Can we go to that? Can we go to that picture with the tags mentioned by Ms. Robles? Kasi ito, nakita na po natin ito sa presentation po.
It's either number 39 or
Can you
50.
go?
That's the one.
Yan po, yan po. Sige,
If you
what are these,
zoom
ma'am?
in- Yes, they were just on the floor and glass bowls, and you can see that it's labeled Batangas, the glass bowls and that covered box. And then on the right side, if you look up close there, that's labeled Alfonso
Ma'am, without making a judgment,
of his dining room. I was struck by the Nara. I don't know if it's Nara, but it's a very long table, and it's a beautifully made table. That's one of the paintings in his dining room. That's another one by the same artist. These are the small Santos in his dining room. The reason why I was taking these photos is because, well, I like going to museums, and I felt that these were very good sculptural pieces.
Ms. Robles,
Yes.
I'd just like to ask, based on what you have seen, how do you assess that that particular room, that dining room of the Vice President? Is it a dining room of a middle class?
Okay, session resumed. So, can we continue with the flashing of the pictures? The first slide, please, requested by Senator Trillanes. The living room. Living room po ba yun? Dining? The dining room?
Mr. Chairman, if this is the order, we'll just...
Okay, there's a particular order. Sige, Ms. Robles, please.
I don't know.
Can we start from the first slide? Okay, sige. Then, Ms. Robles, just the request is for you to make your commentary as the pictures are shown.
This is the residence of Vice President Binay. I went through the kitchen. That's why I saw the kitchen. So you enter through that door on the left side. I went through the door on the left side. This is well, this is one of the photos of Vice President Binay. On the left side, you can see he's being interviewed by a GMA7 reporter. Unfortunately, I don't have the name of the reporter. Well, that he was trying out two barongs for his inauguration. Those are the barongs. Yeah, we had a photo taken together. This is his dining room. Just to clarify, Senator, I submitted these photos to show proof that I was really there, that the interview did take place. This is his dining room. That's the chandelier in the dining room. This is the long view of...
As Filipino family?
No, sir. It's a dining room of a politician.
Ma'am,
Yes.
my dining room is not like that. But let's talk about socio-economic terms. Is that a dining room of a middle class family.
Upper class.
Upper class.
I would
okay.
think.
Well, because I needed to ask that because the vice president has this penchant for portraying himself as a poor man. That he has poor man's habits, like eating with his bare hands. But as what we're seeing here, he has this secret world, right? That is shielded from public scrutiny. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Well, for the